Hey gang, Ronan here, welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of WTF Wednesday, the series where we take a look at games that on paper seem like a good idea, but in reality maybe not so much. And this is probably going to be one of the most controversial and polarizing WTF Wednesdays we have done to date, because we are going to go back to 1998 and play a game that we didn't know at the time was going to be the progenitor of one of the most popular and successful franchises in video game history. A game that, when it came out, was highly controversial, was highly divisive among both gamers and non-gamers alike. We are going to play the original Grand Theft Auto. Now, when I say that this game qualified for a WTF Wednesday, I know there's already going to be people pulling back on that going, wait a minute, dude. How dare you besmirch anything to do with this franchise? This franchise is unimpeachable. It is a one-of-a-kind deal. It's a monolith. It's a juggernaut. How dare you say that this is not a good game? Well, I'm not saying it's not a good game. What I'm saying is that history has not necessarily been as kind to it as you may think. And how I'm going to demonstrate that is over the course of the next half an hour, we're going to play the original Grand Theft Auto. Now, again, this came out in 1998 for the PlayStation. It did come out earlier that same year for Windows in North America, so it was a PC release, and then was later released in 1999 on the Game Boy Color. Now, one thing that I wanted to be able to play this, one reason I wanted to play it was to coincide with the preview release of Grand Theft Auto 6, which, of course, took everybody by storm, blew up the internet, all that stuff. Now, in this original version of the game, you get to play as four different players. You get Travis, Bubba, Troy, or Kivlov. Having them gives you slightly different storylines, but on the whole, it's not like what we have seen in later versions of the game where things are more set up for each individual player. Like in Grand Theft Auto 5, you have Michael, you have Trevor, and you have Curtis, and being able to go between the three and have interacting and venturing storylines, that wasn't an option back 35 years ago when they made this game. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick Kivlov and just to start with. And one thing that in going back and revisiting this game, I didn't realize was that the template for what we know now as Liberty City, Vice City, and San Andreas was actually laid out in the original Grand Theft Auto. Liberty City represented New York, obviously. Vice City represented Miami, and San Andreas represented San Francisco. And this game is spread out over 6 levels in 3 different cities, so you get a chance to play in all 3 cities as you go along in the game. But the way this is laid out and the design of the game, as you will see, is drastically different than anything we have seen since the dawn of the 32-bit generation. Or at least in the transition from 2D to 3D, I should say, because this is actually a 32-bit game being on the PS1. So, how this game works is, as you see, it is a top-down version of the game, and you can rotate your character like so using the D-stick. X allows you to run in a different direction depending on where you're going, and I have a car here. So what I want to be able to do is that yellow arrow that you see is where I need to go to be able to get to my destination for what I want to be able to do. Now when you're driving, X is your accelerator, R1 is your brake, and then triangle is reverse. Now, one thing that I cannot ignore in this game is the, for lack of a better term, the jigginess of the camera. as you see. Like, as I speed up, everything moves at a really, really shaky angle. It's almost like something has a Bourne identity. So what I want to be able to do is I need to be able to answer these payphones that are over here. And these will give me different jobs. Now, there are 4 of them here, and each one... So, Crazy Jimmy's dumped the car in Northeast Park, find it before the cops do or die. So, I need to get back in my car. And as you see, the controls are not that great. Now, in this game, your cars can only take so much damage before they explode. And while you do get a map, it can be very hard to follow. So in each disc that came out, they had a huge fold-out map, which they still do to this day. I still have one for Grand Theft Auto 4, I have one for Grand Theft Auto 5, and something I want to be very clear about is I have, in my collection of actual PlayStation games, I have every version of Grand Theft Auto. From this original one to GT2, and then obviously I have GT3, I have Vice City, I have San Andreas, I have GT4 and GT5. And one of the things that they did for... What the heck did I run into? Oh, I hit a Jeep. One of the things they added onto in this original version of the game was they did what were called expansion packs, which were separate discs that you could buy that were set in different times. So I think the first one they did was London in the 60s. As I pick up a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. And I need another car. Now, the pager going off would be for a side quest that if I wanted to take advantage of, I could do that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the phones and get another job. Now, once you've completed all the jobs in this city, now I could have gone and gotten that one there, but I didn't. It sets up a cutscene with a NPC, and then you can go back and either complete more missions or you move on to the next city. But having had all these games now for close to 30 years, I've actually never finished the original Grand Theft Auto. And I never finished GTA 2. Because one thing I found is this top-down format was such that it was really hard to be able to keep track of where you needed to go. As I jump the bridge. And again, the jitteriness of the camera was one that was just really hard to be able to follow for long periods of time. And I do not remember, and if you know of a way, by all means leave it in the comments below, of how to correct this so I have a machine gun. Oh. Whoop. So L1 equips your machine gun. But I got wasted. Because I don't have any body armor. And now I don't have a gun anymore. So I gotta find a way to get one. Ow. And then get over and get this bike I need to pick up. Whoa, where'd I go? Ow. Alright, this isn't working with the bike. Come on, there we go. Whoa. I still have those guys trying to get me. So you go through those auto spots, and that essentially changes your license plates and everything, makes it so the cops can't track you. But in terms of overall ranking for this game, it still scores really highly. The PlayStation version is a 68%, whereas the PC version is about 80%, and the Game Boy Color version, which understandably given its graphic limitations and processing capabilities, was the weakest at 57%. There we go, that's what I want right there. I need to run over a crate. I'll leave that bike here. Screw you, asshole! But I would contend that Grand Theft Auto really did not become the landmark franchise that it now is universally recognized to be. Until GTA 3 came out. Because once GTA 3 came out, and we were able to see Liberty City from a truly 3D perspective, then it became something much different. Oh, get back on the bike. Really? Oh, what the heck was that? No, wrong bike. Okay, now I gotta get over to wherever I need to drop this bike off, which is right here. What the heck? He wants back, answer the phone in North Fort Law. Means I gotta run and get to this phone before I run out of time. 5 seconds. I hear the phone ringing. But the mission failed because I didn't get over to the phone in time. And that's part of the frustration with this game, is that because if you can't grab a car right away and you can't get to wherever it is you need to go, the odds of you passing missions are really slim to none. So now I have to get back to the main bank of phones. And jump the bridge again. As I go turning into oncoming traffic. But I remember when GTA 3 came out on the PS2 and how much it just blew everybody's mind. And for good reason. Being able to see Liberty City in a totally new light with the soundtrack and the game quality and everything that went into it was so revolutionary. It made the game infinitely better. There's no two ways about it. It is... And then Vice City came out, obviously, and San Andreas came out. And of those three original PS2 games, I still argue that Vice City is my personal favorite. I know a lot of people like San Andreas, but I even still like the original GTA 3. They got so much more right with GTA 3 than they did wrong. That to go back and play this now, you definitely see how much the original games have aged. Because if Rockstar tried to come out with a version, like if they wanted to do GTA 6 in this format, they would get rightly crucified for it. Because there's no way that gamers, especially with the capabilities of most consoles and most systems nowadays, that you'd be able to do it. Whoop. So this crane will pick up this car, put it on the barge. And I get myself some money out of it, except I'm supposed to be able to go and get the taxi, but the taxi isn't there. So I came all this way really for nothing. And I don't want a school bus. Now, he said I needed to bring a taxi over here, so I wonder if I bring this taxi over, will this do it? Yep, so I just need to get one more taxi. And then I might have enough time for one more mission. Well, couldn't time that much better. Alright, clear that out. Now I gotta answer the phone in Northwest New Guernsey.
Jerk off!
Can I get there in time? Oh, get out of the way, dude. Yep, I am going to get to this one. My brother... waste him before he finds me. Okay. So I gotta find this guy and take him out. Oof. Well, I think a bit of a... There we go. Give me a machine gun again. Bridge. Aha. Alright, so we got that one, except now we have the police on our tail, which means we gotta get moving.
Hold it!
And we don't want to go by the police department.
1024 and Southwest Express.
So now we've got to be able to get ourselves to a spot where either the cops will leave us alone. Oh crap. No, 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 no. Oh, we've been arrested. So, we got busted by the cops. Got our pistol back. We may have enough time for one more mission. We'll have to see. But to do it, I've got to get all the way back over to where the phones are, which are on the other side of the city. Oof. Get launched off the bike. Get launched off the bike again. Alright, see if we can get a little bit further along in an actual car here. So we got limousines to deal with. Whoop. Could have gotten that pistol, but I figured why not? I don't need it. Weave your way through traffic. Do we have enough juice to be able to... Whoop. Nope. We didn't. We died. So, I think what we'll do is we'll call it good right there. Because we didn't have enough oomph to get over the bridge. And now we would have to work our way all the way back over to get to where the phones are. So that, everybody, in a nutshell, is the original Grand Theft Auto from 1998 for the PlayStation 1. Again, this is genesis for one of the great video game franchises of all time. But in reality, if you look at it compared to what has come since, and it's a testament to what Rockstar did, what Dan and Sam Houser did in building this game and turning it from where it started from here into what it is now. Rockstar didn't have to do what they've done over the last 30 years to be able to get the franchise to where it is now. And in seeing what is looking to be included in Grand Theft Auto 6, I'm really looking forward to what that has to offer. But is this a good game? No. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, no, it isn't. It's not a good game. Because the rudimentary nature of it makes it's hard to be able to complete missions. The controls are really janky. As you saw with the camera is all over the place. There's no real way to determine which way you're going, save for this yellow arrow that's going to lead you in directions that you're not entirely sure where you're going until you get there. Being able to avoid traffic and stay out of the way of getting killed or getting arrested is really hard. Finding ways to avoid the police is super hard, especially the higher your wanted level goes up. And you would have to be a real diehard to be able to get committed to this game enough to make it out of Liberty City, get to Vice City, and then get to San Andreas and finish the game, I believe. Again, in having these games for 25, 30 years, I've never been able to finish one. Not until I got to Grand Theft Auto 3 did I actually finish a GTA game. And that's not to say that I don't think it would be possible to do it. It's that these games, because of how basic they are, in terms of comparison to everything that has come since, it's really hard to be able to turn around and think how many people were ever able to get through them. So, is it a game I think you should try? If you're a real big-time GTA player, you might want to give it a whirl. But I suspect you will run into a similar amount of frustration that I have with this game, in that we've been so spoiled over the last 20 years especially with the 3D versions of the game and what Rockstar did. in building Liberty City, Vice City, San Andreas, and populating it not just with characters we wanted to be able to follow, but also game designs and concepts, and the overall package is such that I don't think you could really go back to this state of the game and get the same level of enjoyment out of it. If you can, I'd love to hear about it. Is it a game that I think they could remake and do a version of now? Well, obviously they're going to with GTA 6. Do I think it would be possible for them to do a revamped version of the original Grand Theft Auto? I don't see why not, but not on the same scale. Where you would have all three cities incorporated in one game. I don't think they would have the means by which to be able to do it that big. If Rockstar was ambitious enough to try, I'm all for it. Bring it on. But realistically, I think it would have to be something that would have to be split up into parts, and a lot of gamers would probably say we're missing more than what we are getting by having one be in Liberty City, one in Vice City, one in San Andreas, because again, if you wanted to do that, then you can just go back and do the game as, you know, you can play all the different versions of GTA that are out there now on the PS2. So, but as I finished the kill frenzy there that I didn't manage to pass, but I didn't realize I was going to walk into it. But if you've enjoyed this, and I do hope you have, best way to show it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Be sure to check out our ongoing playthrough of Dark Souls Remastered, which will be coming up again this weekend. We are now into the 20 episode threshold for that series, and we are getting to a key point in the game where we are going through Anne Orlando now and should have our big showdown with Ornstein and Smo coming up in the next episode or two. So if you've been following along, I definitely encourage you to tune in for those. Also, hope you did check out our one-day playthrough for this last week where we played Altered Beast for the Sega Genesis. That was a lot of fun going back and revisiting a game that could have been a WTF Wednesday, but because of how small it is, by comparison to other games, it worked better in that format. So, be sure to follow us on Twitter, or excuse me, on social media rather, through Threads and Instagram. We don't do Twitter/X anymore. At Ronan's Retrocade. Thank you for everybody who spread the word about us. We are just on the doorstep of reaching our threshold of 100 subscribers, which is a great way to ring out 2023, and hopefully will get us in a position where we can continue to expand our subscriber base going into 2024. And on that front, if there's any game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2. Leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on social media. It can be any game from those consoles that you want. My name is Ronan. It's been great to spend this WTF Wednesday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we will talk to you again Wednesday as we carry on with our playthrough of Dark Souls Remastered. Bye!